Full-time whistle's gone, though, in Prague. Let's get to Hayden Mullins. Hayden, tell us about it. Well, how does it feel as an ex-West Ham player?
Fantastic. Those lads on the pitch, that whole squad, history makers. I think they've been absolutely fantastic in this tournament. Unbeaten.
Yeah.
They've gone through the whole tournament unbeaten. They go in and they won the final. It wasn't convincing in the first half. They looked a little bit shaky, grew into the game. But they've really deserved it in the second half. And Jared Bowen has just written his name into West Ham folklore, really.
Was it just growing into the game then? Because you look at it overall, people might think Fiorentina more possession, more shots on goal. But do you feel that there was a belief that grew in that second half there from West Ham?
There was a real turning point on the half-time, right on the stroke of half-time, where Fiorentina had a goal disallowed, which was quite tight, really tight. So I'm sure West Ham players and staff got in at half-time and settled themselves down and had a real good chat and said, listen, that we could be 1-0 down here. We really need to go out and we really need to give this everything you got.
West Ham fans celebrating here. give us an idea of what this means to this club, because there's a lot of West Ham fans in the country, but no trophy for 43 years.
It's huge, no European trophies. I think Bobby Moore was the last captain to lift the trophy, and there's Declan Rice on the field. His last act as a West Ham captain could be lifting the Conference League. But listen, it's huge for the football club. No one would have thought at the beginning of the season that they would have went on and won the European Conference League. But they have, and I'm sure every single one of those fans would forgive where they finished in the Premier League for that moment right there. I mean, this eclipses everything.
And the age of the fans as well. There'll be a lot of West Ham fans who've never seen them win a trophy. I mean, going back to the last European trophy was 1965 with Bobby Moore.
Crazy. And like you say, it's not just been this season. Last season they had a fantastic season as well. Finished well in the Premier League, semi-final of the Europa League, and they've gone one more this season.
Where does this rank in? We talked about this upstairs, weren't we, before we...
Yeah.
So where does this rank in the accolades of modern football? Because only 2 years in the Conference League, Roma won it last season. Where does it stand?
I think it's a great competition to win. Obviously, it's not one of the big premier competitions in Europe, but it's still a European title. And like you say, every team that's in that competition would want to win it. Of course they would. And West Ham have done it, and it's a fantastic coup for the club. It really does now push the club into a real, for me, it pushes them into that sort of bracket of real big European teams.
Is this the start for West Ham? Will those fans be thinking that? They're not going to be thinking this Conference League is it, and there's going to be another several decades of waiting.
Not at all. This is just the start. I really do believe that. I think they've settled down in the stadium now. I think the stadium really feels like home now to the West Ham fans and the West Ham players, and it's a lovely arena to play in. And it does need European football. I think the biggest thing they've got to do now is try and hold on to their skipper who's on the screen now, and he's really emotional.
Is that an indication that his last moments, Declan Rice getting an embrace from David Moyes, who's absolutely ecstatic?
He's ecstatic. David Moyes was the quickest player on the pitch. I think that's it for me, for Declan now. Like I say, he's so emotional. Everyone's dancing, everyone's up and around, everyone's smiling, everyone's laughing, and he's in the middle of the pitch, and he's really emotional.
West Ham will be in the Europa League next season, despite finishing in the bottom half of the Premier League table by virtue of this. For Declan Rice, if he is to progress now from West Ham, how big a club does it need to be off the back of something like this with West Ham?
I think it's got to be a Champions League club. I really do. I think if he's going to leave West Ham now, he's got to leave West Ham for someone who offers him Champions League football. I don't think there's any other reason why you'd leave that football club. He's the captain. The fans and the paying public who go and watch absolutely adore him. He's potential England captain. He could really write his legacy at that football club. He's potentially, he's going to lift the Conference League title if he stays there, and he's a one-club man. It could be a fantastic thing for him.
What about David Moyes' legacy now at West Ham, the man that's led them to their first trophy for 43 years? Is he secure? Is it ridiculous to suggest he's not?
Yeah, 100%. I think he's got to go down as one of their best managers. He's brought a European trophy to the football club. Not many, hardly any of the managers can say that. And he's not. It's not a fluke. Last season he got to the semi-final. They weren't far away last season, and this season they've gone one more. So absolutely fantastic. And he goes down as one of their greats. Surely.
Could this be liberating for him? You mentioned West Ham. It could be the start. Do you think for Moyes, 25 years of management to get that first big trophy?
Yeah, he said this is his biggest moment. He gave an interview I heard earlier, and he said he's been in the game a long, long time, and he feels this is his biggest moment. And I'm sure he will. All the pressure and everything, and all the stick he's had this season from a lot of people, not just West Ham fans. Like I say, I think half and half West Ham fans. Half of them wanted him to go, half wanted him to stay. He had a little bit of stick from the media and people like that who were questioning his job. I think this sort of settles all of that for me.
Is the next step, though, to win in style? Is that what West Ham fans will want, or are they just going to be grateful for winning something?
I think you'd be grateful. You take it any way it happened. If they had to defend for 89 minutes and score in the 90th minute and win it, they would have taken that. I mean, this is a fantastic night for the football club. A huge, huge night for the football club. I mean, for many a decade, they haven't been anywhere near winning anything like this. So I think it's absolutely fantastic for the football club. They now need to build on it and really enjoy it, but they now have to build on this and try and go one further and see if they can get into the Champions League.
Sky Sports pundit Jamie Carragher knows all about success, of course, with Liverpool, but he's hailed this new tournament on social media in the last few minutes and says that English teams need to dominate it. Would you echo that sentiment for Aston Villa next season? Yes,
yeah, definitely. I think, we were speaking earlier, I think the budget of the English teams now, especially going into that tournament, that dominates the competition alone in terms of what they can spend. I'm sure there'll be one or two clubs that can maybe keep up with them, but they should definitely dominate that competition. Yeah, with the squad and the budget they've got. But to go and actually win it is a completely different scenario. You come up against some very good teams, formations, players. It's a fantastic competition to win. What does this mean for Jared Bowen in terms of West Ham folklore, scoring the winning goal in the That's huge. I mean, that is huge. And it wasn't an easy goal. It wasn't an easy finish. He's had to run from the halfway line, bent his run, kept himself on side. It was a bit of a scruffy finish, but he'd take that all day long. And he goes down now in West Ham folklore. He'll be remembered forever at that football club. Brooking in 1980 FA Cup. Alan Seeley got a couple of goals from the Cup Winners' Cup final in 1965. Definitely. He's in that breath. When he retires and he goes back to that football club, he'll be forever remembered. And there'll always be a place for him at that football club, I'm sure. I mean, to help the football club win a European trophy, that, for me, I haven't really thought about that in my career. But to see it, this is fantastic. Fantastic. What's your thought for the West Ham fans as well? Just tonight, is that the overriding emotion, just the joy on their behalf? Joy for them. I mean, the support they give the team is unwavering. I've seen a lot of videos and I've seen a lot of things on social media from the square in Prague, and it takes me back to when we were in the 2006 FA Cup final and we were driving through Cardiff to get to Millennium Stadium, and the fans, the noise they made, the bubbles were everywhere. The fans are fantastic at that football club, and they really deserve this. That proved to be another really tough day for them in the end, didn't it? Great final, but now they finally got over the line, yeah. And now they finally got over the line, and like I say, I'm over the moon for everyone at the football club, the fans, the staff, the players, everyone, and David Moyes especially, who's come under a bit of stick this season. He goes out now with whether he stays or goes, he goes out with a bang. Will he go or stay? Final thought. I think he'd stay. Every time I see him talk, he speaks with a real passion. He's still got a bit of a glint in his eye, and I think he'll look at next season and really want to attack. He's got more than a glint in his eye. There's lightning coming out of him tonight, isn't there? He's bouncing all over the place. Everything's coming out. Yeah. Hey, Hayden, well, brilliant to watch the game with you. Appreciate you coming into Sky Sports. Thank you very much. Great for your old club. Thank you, Hayden Mullins.